Yummy chocolate. Yum, yum, yum. Yum. Yummy. Who's recording this? Hi, it's Sister Krista. Today I'm going to talk to you about chocolates. And you know why I'm talking about chocolates? And one of the good reasons is you can already see behind me there are a bunch of chocolates. Like some of my favorite chocolates and some chocolate covered something like next to me, Brookside because it's on my side, chocolate covered blueberries, and other small minis. You can see on the package, you can see some minis like Twix minis, Hershey's minis. Here are some nuggets. You can see all those yummy, yummy chocolates. And there's actually a big history about chocolate, and they were very diverse. And you might see these new backgrounds because right now I have moved from a regular background place in Novi, Michigan to now in my hometown where I was born, and I lived for 3 years until I moved for 4 years and came back now in the summer. India, Bengaluru, this is a really nice home for me. I just love it as all the things here I just remember from my baby memories. It's just nice, I just love it. It's really hot in here too, so these just hope they don't melt. Anyway, now let's just get started with the topic of chocolate. So where did chocolate originate from? So chocolate first came from a type of fruit and a tree. So the tree was called cocoa tree and the fruit was cocoa fruit. The cocoa trees grew cocoa fruit and they were low since they did not like the sun, so they stayed low to the ground so the leaves did not reach the sun. And when you pick a cocoa fruit and then you chop it, you can see the cocoa beans and another white oozy stuff that then scooping out all of the things from the cocoa fruit, putting it outside the sun to dry. All of the white stuff, gooey stuff will melt, so just to leave it like cocoa beans, we would take the cocoa beans and then ground them up. In those back times where it was old, like in the 3000 BCs, when the Mayans that were the first to explore them, they found those cocoa beans and chopped them and made a kind of drink after they grounded the cocoa beans, crushed them. Grounded means crushing, and then once they crushed it, and then they would kind of make it into a liquid, and then they would put chili peppers and salt and stuff like that, including honey. Sometimes honey would be added. They would drink it for special festivals. That would it was a good drink for them. It's nothing like hot cocoa, so it was really bitter. And remember I said chili peppers. None of these have chili peppers, right? They're all sweets. But my mom makes some tasty chocolate treats with vegetables inside it, like broccoli and sometimes other seeds. And even zucchini, that's really unnoticeable since it's always chocolatey. It's so hard to believe it, but actually it happens. So now how was it starting to evolve into these sweet things? Well, once the Aztecs took over the Mayans had to pay them taxes and fees because they had to give them. So they gave them cocoa beans, and cocoa beans were literally used as a source of money because the Aztecs could not grow cocoa beans. So they needed to use, the Aztec Empire needed to kind of capture more other countries to get their cocoa beans to trade. It's weird because then money literally grew on trees. That means you can almost get infinitely amounts of cocoa beans, and it's like money, so it's just you can buy everything. Like Also, that most the high more the high of the classes got to drink the drink with cocoa beans, and also sometimes it was provided for other like soldiers after a war victory. But once the Aztec Empire fell, it really did not get much population. But before that happened, uh, the Spanish came and found those cocoa beans. Aztecs gave the Spanish emperor a bunch of cocoa beans. Also, when on his trip, he had cocoa beans, but with all the other valuable resources, he would just take those other valuable resources and leave the cocoa beans behind. His partner, however, found the cocoa beans and then realized how important they were. And then he also realized that when the beans fell, they just stand there waiting to be picked up, like an eyeball had dropped. Just so weird. I don't know why, but it's probably their shape that just made them fall and just stay there ready to be picked up and put back. So once they found the cocoa beans, they started spreading, or it really was not that popular in Europe until the Spanish started invading countries that actually drank and ate those cocoa beans. And then they finally got that cocoa beans and they spread it all around Europe, and Europe got so popular. And then a Dutch inventor made a machine that could separate the cocoa butter and the literal cocoa liquid. And then you could rejoin it, and that adds some sugar, butter to make dark chocolate. But then sugar, butter, and if you add powdered milk, that makes milk chocolate. That's how the first milk chocolate was made, and then put into a special mold that would make the first chocolate bar. Also, the chocolate chip cookie was actually a mistake invented. So, a woman chef was planning to make for her customers, she made some cookie dough, she put chocolate chips in it, thinking that the chocolate chips would melt and then cover, giving a plain chocolate cookie. But to her surprise, when she baked them and it came out, they did not melt. And then when she tried them, it was really good. So that was the mistaken chocolate chip cookie. So that's one of my favorites. I love chocolate. There's also lots of other stuff with chocolate, like recipes, and there are just yummy chocolate recipes out there, like chocolate muffins, chocolate cake, and even some weird chocolate recipes, like chocolate lasagna I've heard of, chocolate burgers, and chocolate stuff that are supposed to be spicy, but turns out they're actually sweets because of that chocolate. And just like the weird recipes of like pie that's supposed to be sweet, but that fish pie, that's a real thing. Just chocolate and chocolate lasagna, that's weird. It's actually true, but basically like a cookie dough, and I'm putting chocolate stuff, and I'm also putting other sweet stuff like candy and stuff. Well, there are some things that people mistake for chocolate, or people mistake candy, because they have super similar things. Let me just explain some things. Like lollipops, most people know it's called a candy because, it's not that chocolate, it's not made out of cocoa. Also chocolate, it does not mean it's just chocolate, but I'll explain that later after I explain what mistakes candy and chocolate. So candies are like Jolly Ranchers, lollipop suckers, and lollipops and suckers are the same thing, but just stuff like that are not made out of cocoa. But even some just suckers just say sucker, it's a lollipop that's chocolate flavored, and do not even take that for a chocolate, because that is not even made with cocoa. Anything inside that is not chocolate. And chocolates also don't include any, so yeah, some chocolates are chewy, but not like bubble gum. Those are just actually a separate topic. See, just gum, anything with gum, like bubble gum, mint gum, stuff like that, that's just gum. That's not candy, that's not chocolate. Most candies are hard, some are chewy. Gummies are not gum though. Gummies are candy. That makes another difference that are weird. So if you hear a gummy band, that's a candy. But if you hear a gummy bear, that is actually half gum and half gummy, half candy. But how about a full candy gummy? A full candy gummy would be, like Nerds. Nerds is a hard candy that's small. You put it in your mouth and then you just need to put a bunch to reach the good amount that you want. There are different flavors and sometimes I do like them. But when you just try that Nerds gummy cluster, that's a candy. Since I have Nerds gummy clusters, it's not in the background because it's not chocolate. But Nerds gummy clusters are not at all a gum or gummies. They're actually candy since the brand was candy. Nerds it's a type of candy. And then if you also count what the gummy says, don't listen to that since that they're not making a gum or a gummy. That makes it a total new candy. A candy is, however, really hard and not that chewy. Only gummy candies are kind of like that. But I don't know why, but people just say that chocolates and candies are the same, but that is not true at all. That is like, there's so many differences. There's just so many. And now let's talk about what makes chocolate a chocolate. So, chocolate is chocolate when it is made out of cocoa powder, but a lot of cocoa powder, like 65% of cocoa powder and no milk powder or milk added, 5% butter and a bit of fat. How about white chocolate? White chocolate does not contain cocoa because cocoa adds its brown bit. But what makes white chocolate white chocolate? White chocolate needs cocoa butter, a lot of it, about 65%, needs at least 5% cocoa, 10% cocoa, and how about the rest of that 25%? 25% should be either that kind of milk, not like actually 15% milk powder, and 10% of really any secret ingredient that would make white chocolate special. And how about what makes dark chocolate dark chocolate? Dark chocolate you should call chocolate, and milk chocolate you should call fake chocolate, because milk chocolate contains lots of milk, and milk powder and milk. That makes it not chocolate. So, how about you add dark chocolate or real chocolate, milk chocolate, they'll probably make other chocolate mixes, because most of these are milk chocolate. But if you can see here the ones that say, here actually, they say 100% cocoa, 98% cocoa. Those are my mom's favorite ones to eat, because and my mom likes dark chocolate. But those are real chocolates. It needs to at least say 56% chocolate or more, 56% cocoa or more for it to be a real chocolate bar. So these, they're definitely chocolate, a real chocolate. But dark chocolate is actually pretty good. But for the first time you try it, you're probably gonna be disgusted if you don't like really bitter things. And that's probably exactly, but liquid form, how that drink tasted back then. That is a lot of stuff about chocolate. And probably, I think to yourself, stop and think right now. Do you like chocolate or not? And if you do, then what's your favorite type of chocolate? And remember not to mistake it for a candy or a gum or a gummy or stuff like that. And now let's talk about why chocolate is poisonous for dogs. And if you do have a dog, do not give your dog some chocolate, even for birds. If you have a pet bird or a dog, do not give them chocolate, but why can you eat it and not dogs or any of your pets? Well, you love chocolate and they don't, because that makes them sick and probably even die. Let me tell you why. In chocolate, there is actually a toxin, but we quickly metabolize it. If you did not watch my color video, in the color video I told that I will make this video, and I will tell why it's poisonous for dogs, and it's because of metabolism. And if you didn't watch that video, probably go watch that right now after this video. But I'll explain again that it's when something destroys it. If one of your trillion cells, or if anything destroys it, in an animal cells or something like that. So we quickly metabolize that toxin. But what about birds and dogs and other pets like that? When they eat chocolate, they metabolize it slower. So the toxin gets into the body and either makes them vomiting or diarrhea or dog sicknesses or bird sicknesses or whatever pet sicknesses. And that's why it's harmful for dogs and birds and pets. And where does the most cocoa come from? Cocoa trees grow in Brazil, Peru, and other South American countries in the north and the south. Surprisingly, ones in Asia, countries in Asia like India and Sri Lanka, are in 11th, 12th, and even sometimes 13th place. But the second most, 2/8 of all of the cocoa in the world comes from Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast has so much cocoa trees that Ivory Coast is in Africa, Western Africa, right close to the Sahara Desert, about 6,000 miles away from the Sahara Desert. But USA does not end up at any cocoa trees. Cocoa trees usually like to grow in the smack dab middle of the earth, where the equator is. India and Sri Lanka are close to it, like India and Sri Lanka here, it's right there. So cocoa trees won't really grow there, but a few come in the southern areas. Sri Lanka and India are more known for, well, Sri Lanka is more known for tea picking, and so is India. But like those countries do have lots of stuff to harvest. Every country has lots of stuff to harvest, and not almost every continent except for that 7th continent. And yeah, no, not the 8th really. The 8th has a few. I'll do a video on the 8th continent, but there is almost everyone knows the 7th continent, Antarctica, or you can call it the first, or really it's just one of the 7 continents. So that area does not really have anything to harvest. Maybe they do have some things to harvest underneath it, where some penguins and plants grow, and penguins and those other animals down there eat it. Also, one of my favorite animals, a colossal squid, is down there. And if you did not watch my squids video, it is also, I also have that video right in, it's in the link below. Also the colors video. And if you want to see another video that's Squid vs. Octopus, that's also in the link below. There are 3 video links below, so in the description, so please click it. And it is actually really nice if you subscribe and click that like button. So that's it for this video. Bye bye.